with from earlier, this is also Sugar Creek Road. So at times it got very high out there, and the flash flood warning continuing for much of the area as we bring in now Chris Mulcahy here in the Live Impact studio with the latest. I know you have been very busy. It does look like it's improving, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. If you were joining us the whole time, came in here just to give an update, and I was like, oh, man, this is happening fast. And then all of a sudden, James was going live, and then we realized that the situation was escalating really fast. But that's flash flooding for you. And it also shows that you should never underestimate the urban runoff that we have here. And, hey, do you know what? For me as well, because I was like, oh, yeah, no, we have 2 to 3 inches of rain. Well, that's enough, because also we get our data from the airport, and the airport was reading about 2.5 inches of rain so far. But we actually have some totals that were close to 5 inches of rain across the area. So that is significant. And we have active flash flood warnings still, but where we were showing James not too long ago, that was about 10:25 we began with, it spiked to about 12.6 feet, and now that has now come down 3 feet. So we've seen a lot of these locations recede by about 3 feet, and that's going to be the continual trend. Let's get right over to some of the graphics that we have. I want to show you exactly what's happening as far as the active radar. Look at off towards the west of York County. So west of 321, we have a significant improvement as far as that rain goes. Destiny Richards said not too long ago, hey, the rain is breaking up, things are improving. You can see the rocks, the debris that are left over. As quick as flooding can happen, that's as fast as it can recede. So many times in my career, I've been said, hey, there's flooding at this location. As soon as the rain truly lightens up, you get there and you just see the remnants of that. And I think that's going to be really the case and scenario, especially with Charlotte traffic. But we still have some very heavy rain. Over in Albemarle and Stanley County, we still have an active flash flood warning that goes until 2:15. Those areas have seen less rain than the Charlotte area, and some of those isolated totals up to 4 to 5. They've still seen 3 inches of rain with, on top of that, the heaviest rain in the area right now. So I also want to keep an eye on Stanley County with all their streams that they have as well, around Albemarle with some of the runoff there, that they will have a chance that maybe an upgrade from the flash flood warning to base to maybe a considerable. But the only considerable that we have, and that's the one that physically will alert your phone. You can bring me back up, and here I'll show it to you. Right there. That was coming in. What's really interesting, that it's actually a little bit concerning for me, and it's maybe just because I missed it earlier. This came in about 20 minutes ago, and I physically saw that they were going for a considerable warning from the National Weather Service much before that. So, Majestic, did you see by any chance?
I did get the same thing, but I think I got mine earlier.
Okay, you did. Okay, good.
I'm not exactly sure on the time, but I do know once things were really intensifying.
Okay.
I was getting
when James was down there, he was actually one of the ones that helped feed the National Weather Service, and that was substantial.
He did amazing. I just have to give props to him.
He
because
really did.
He was so good
Wait,
at being so clear about what he was seeing and what he was observing, and he's so smart and has so much knowledge about weather as well, and just just saying what he's seeing and what's going on. And it was incredible to see the footage that he got, to see how fast that river was just rising, and the things that he could provide, just the knowledge.
The real life impact too of what it really, how it applies to, down the road from John and Jill, how it's going to affect their drive or their neighborhood, and really bringing those real-time images. They were incredible while he was staying safe.
And I think it's interesting because you know these creeks in Little Sugar Creek now. When you walk down around there, oh, you do have it.
This is a live shot of the
right now.
Sugar Creek Greenway. You see that?
Wow.
Like right there, the Little Sugar Creek near the
Just
Greenway.
behind those apartments.
I keep on hearing people say that this was an area that was very flood prone, and talk about that being the truth. I mean, and look at those apartments, it seems like, close by, right?
Are those the Wakefield apartments, do we know?
Not quite.
Okay, because that's usually one apartment.
The culprit.
Mason just moved, so last check he was along Sugar Creek Greenway, not exactly sure where along.
Well, and I gotta say, Majestic, because we were following the rain, and it wasn't that much, and then it kind of picked back up. But I think what was most substantial about this is that the more that we build here in Charlotte, the more the events like this that we're going to see, just because that water has nowhere to go. Typically, when you have a saturated soil, the same thing happens. When you're talking about concrete, it's not going anywhere because it's not porous.
Exactly. I mean, it's having to deal with the rain that's falling and then everything that's running off and adding into that. It was amazing. Did we get to 13 feet?
It was close.
Officially, or not quite?
Not
Close
quite. Yeah, it was close to 14 feet. That is the record. But
Yeah.
there are a few locations down there that we hit top 2 or top 3 greatest level along some of these creeks and streams. I'm happy to say that at least we are going to see a little bit of a break in the rain. Being honest with you, the models did a good job picking up, I think, on the rain up to this point, but then going forward, I think they're a little confused about what's going next. So we were kind of doing this earlier over on WCNC. Of course, you could have watched that here on WCNC Plus as well. But the second band of rain, Majestic, we're hitting kind of the classic dry slot, but I think that this is going to be really the big problem a little bit later on this evening or even late afternoon that we have to watch out for.
I agree. I don't think that we're done yet, and I think in a situation where we've already had so much rain that has fallen, you have problems when it comes to just adding more onto an already very saturated ground. So just keeping that top of mind, that flooding needs to be an important thing that you are mindful of, not just flooding, but flash flooding like what we're seeing.
Yeah, and I've seen this multiple times, but still when you're watching it live time, as you just got to see with us, you really see the magnitude, what flash flooding is, how fast it can happen, and how fast that river was moving, or actually it's not a river, it looked like a river,
Yeah,
the
it
stream.
did. It did.
And you have some, I want you to read some totals for us. These are staggering that we've seen across the area.
Well, I was looking at it, and it's interesting because you could see that flow of rain that's been going through kind of the same exact area from York County through Mecklenburg County and just kind of tracking northeast. That's where we picked up the most amount of rain, of course. Areas right around, around Charlotte, 4.2 inches of rain. That's the official one. Collinswood Elementary, like you were talking about earlier, Chris, 4.89, so almost 5 inches of rain. That's wild. And just to think that that's the amount of rain that has already fallen, and we're not even done yet with the rain today, and not to mention the rain that we still have in the forecast over the next couple more days.
And the last time that we had these levels that I can recall, if you remember, at the end of June, we had Tyvola Road that went underwater, where we saw these values across a couple of hours. And this was really from about 4 to 5 o'clock that we really saw the rain rates pick up here around Charlotte, but then they really started to expand. So this is the second time that we've seen these levels just surge here in Charlotte, and the same thing was happening along those different creeks and rivers. But we're not done yet. As we mentioned, we're still dealing with on and off rain. It's the light to moderate rain that'll start to move in. So physically, the areas that have been most overwhelmed by rain will get that subtle break, but we still have a little bit to go. So let's move over to quickly a futurecast before we show you any other information. I think that we're going to see that lull really for a couple of hours. The problem with these models, and that's why I was just kind of illustrating, here's what could happen, it's not picking up on that second band of rain that we've just watched just come out of nowhere. Now, all this is feeding into the one system, so that's why we're officially going weather alert for tonight and for tomorrow, just because leftovers, because Majestic, you've seen this before in different places that you've worked, that it often takes sometimes a flooding event to make an even worse flooding event where they almost stair step to one another.
Absolutely. And with all the rain that we've seen today, I mean, these numbers are a lot. That's a lot of rain, and it won't take much more to also just create some more problems. When I was just looking at some of those numbers too, it was interesting because once you get west of Shelby, all of a sudden those numbers drop off dramatically. So there could be some people watching the stream and being like, what rain are you guys talking about? Because there's some areas, especially once you're looking northwest of Charlotte, there's hardly any rain, which is crazy to think that maybe a couple of raindrops up towards our mountain locations. And then what we're seeing here is just a washout, and not just, heavy downpours, but this is like dangerous, life-threatening flash flooding that we were seeing if people got trapped or caught in that rain.
Yeah, and just look where it is. And
Yeah.
the worst impact about this is these are our most densely populated counties. We have Mecklenburg, you're over in Gaston County, York County, and officially Rock Hill. So we actually do have a measurement there, close to 4 inches of rain at the airport. And I think that there's also some isolated areas of 5+ that happen in Mecklenburg, and that's also why they're under a flash flood warning until 4:45. So yeah, it's been crazy, y'all. And the sad thing is, I wish we could say, hey, we're all done, but
Yeah.
with more rain on the way, just kind of keep an eye out, especially if you live in a flood-prone area.
Yeah, and it was good to know that there weren't a lot of people outside. We were seeing a lot of the live camera shots from James at Little Sugar Creek. It's such a highly populated area that people walk on all the time, especially in the afternoon. Even if it's raining a little bit, I'm not kidding you. I see people walking on that all the time, but thankfully it seems like they're being smart with that because water is just so powerful, and
Yes,
it
it
doesn't
is.
take a whole lot to cause some big problems, and that was a very problematic area.
Yeah, and we haven't really heard too many more reports from the National Weather Service about any further updates or any more other reports that they've had. The last one that I received was actually from around the South Park Mall, and that update is what they had. Let me see. Let's try to bring it up. Let me see. Losing it. It was pretty much just saying that there were multiple water rescues that were actively occurring. And these water rescues, sometimes you can think of the more dramatized thing that people are floating down the river. But I think a lot of these people were driving through actually flooded roadways. That was the big issue that we had. And what I think is also interesting, too, Majestic, is the rain that we were seeing was heavy, but it wasn't as heavy as it could be. If we potentially had thunderstorms training through this area, this could have been an even worse situation, and we wouldn't be just so calm at this point, is what I'm saying.
That's very true. I guess that's a little bit of a silver lining that we didn't get that, but I mean, those totals are just staggering.
Yeah, and I was just trying to find the report. See, now all the reports are coming in, so it was tough to find that. But for the data, here it was. Emergency management reported several water rescues ongoing in South Charlotte due to flooded roadways. Location estimated based on emergency management report. That was 1 mile northwest of the South Park Mall. That officially was at 11:42. So I'd really say there was about an hour ago that we had our worst, our peak. It was really between about 10:30 to about that 11:45 range that we were starting to hit our crest and our most active zone. But still, we can bring up that shot again of the one that Mason's at. Just how bad it still is. And if we're getting more rain to roll back in, this is not just a one and done type of deal. We just encounter more rain later on this evening, heading through the overnight, heading into tomorrow as well.